Hey YouTube, I've been watching these political debates and I've been following them very, very closely for, I'd say, about a year. Pretty much this whole entire year. And I actually took a break once Obama was elected in 2008. But before that time, I was always listening to politics, watching politics, and then I just kind of fell off once Obama got in. I'm not going to get into why I stopped following so closely once Obama got in, but I stopped listening. So now we're back at it again, and it's interesting to see how things are kind of surfacing. And what I am finding interesting, and especially in last night's GOP Republican debate, which was actually their third debate, I noticed that everyone was talking about the federal government and how the federal government has so much control, yada, yada, yada. But the interesting thing is in 2008, and this is where I'm doing the comparisons of that in those times, in those debates, in those discussions versus what's happening now. It is a media circus now, as it was then, and I'm not going to lie. If you go back and if you watch those debates and see how things were covered, it was very media biased toward Obama. It was. And in fact, there were times where, I was kind of rooting for all these different candidates and nobody got time, as, you can see with Rand Paul. Rand Paul is very, very, very smart and very capable of running this country. However, he gets zero media time. And, and to say, on his behalf, he's not the best speaker. Well, I take that back. He's a great speaker. But on a debate, he doesn't really come across as being charismatic and friendly and that kind of bullshit that people seem to fall in love with, especially when it comes to like voting and electing a president. For some reason, people just can't like this guy and just kind of warm up to him. But I will say his policies and the things that he's done in politics are just like somebody you want to get behind. Now, going back to what everybody's saying today, last night, everybody was all against the federal government. They want to audit them, this and this and that. But then in 2008, Ron Paul was saying the exact same thing, but everybody called him a kook and that he was crazy. And they said he was out of touch and he was just this crazy loon that was completely out of touch, trying to like take down the federal government and audit the IRS and end taxation altogether. Give people back their money. And, if you listen to those debates, everything that he says is completely on point, but nobody listened. And yet they actually talked down about him. Anyway, so that's that. And that's kind of what I'm noticing. And then everyone seems to all be complaining about the same thing, how Wall Street has their hands on everything. But yet then, why is Donald Trump the front runner of the GOP party? If everybody's complaining about Wall Street having their hands in government, then why are we electing the poster child of Wall Street into the highest seat of the House? It makes no sense. And the thing is, he's saying the exact same things that people want to hear. Immigration. Like, the guy sounds like a parrot. Repeat. Immigration. Burr, burr. Like, the guy he won't shut up about it. It's just like, oh, I'm losing them. Immigration. Oh, they're starting to drift over to Ben Carson. Immigration. Something. It's just like, and he says that nobody's been talking about it, but yet they've been talking about it forever. And yes, they did talk about it in the last presidential election, and they did it in the 2008. So I don't really know what this guy is talking about. So here we are with Ben Carson and Donald Trump. I mean, I still don't know, and I don't get what everyone sees in Ben Carson. I'm trying to give him a chance, and I'm trying to listen to him, but I just can't. I can't do it. I just can't. I can't follow him. I can't follow him and wrap my head around this guy. Well, my mother's read his books and she thinks, the guy is like a saint and is like she's so in love with Ben Carson. However, she said she wouldn't vote for him. She would vote for Donald Trump because she says that it takes balls to run this country. And I'm just like, well, if you want balls, then why aren't you voting for Hillary Clinton? You know, she's got a lot of balls. And if anything, she's probably the most qualified than anyone on the entire panel. And she's even more qualified than Obama. You know, and the thing is, one thing that it's obvious, and I don't think people want to admit this, but it's there when you look at the pay scale from the ratio to women and men. You look at that and it's clear, okay, women get paid less. Fine. Why? Just because of our sex. Simply that, nothing more. Now, I asked this question in 2008, and I asked everybody, like anyone that was black or brown, of any sort, of any minority, okay? And I asked them this question: what is more predominant in the United States, or in the world, say? Sexism or race? So the question is, sorry about that, the question was, what is more predominant in the world? Racism or sexism in the world? And I was really surprised at all the reviews and, all the comments that I was getting back, especially from black females. And so it was like mostly the majority of people that answered said racism is more predominant than sexism. But I have to completely disagree with that. Because if you take a Filipino guy, and this is just my theory, if you take a Filipino guy, a Mexican guy, a black male, a French male, let's see, who else can we name? And someone from the Middle East, Turkish, someone from Afghanistan, all males. And you had them all sit and look at a room of women, or say a woman, and say she's black. The first thing they're going to notice is first her sex, then her color. Automatically, when men see women, I don't care what race you are or what your nationality is, when men scan a room, the first thing they see is a woman's sex first, and then they notice her race. Okay? When guys are in a room, the first thing they see, and I'm just going to be crass, and I'm going to say the first thing they see is pussy, right? That's what they see. They see a woman. She can be Indian, Chinese, something. They see that she's female, and then they'll look at her race later. Okay? So I'll use that as my rationality to say that all men will be sexist first, and then they'll think race second. First thing that comes to their mind is sex first, race second. Now, women, however, I think women are a little bit of both. They can be like either racist or sexist, but I think women are just too stupid to not empower each other. And that's just from men being around men and men constantly telling them that they are second class or less than, and that they deserve less than what they should be earning financially, or whatever the case is. You know, I'm not saying that a woman doesn't have a role in the house, or that, there shouldn't be an opposite, a positive and a negative as far as male and female. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is sexism is huge and will always be an issue in the world, period. And the United States, women go around thinking that they have to succumb to men in general and just have to go with the flow of whatever the man has to dictate as far as the business is concerned. I'm just talking about jobs here. Nothing at home. We're just talking about business and work. Now, if there was some form of equality, like true equality, financially, think about it. If your woman can make the same amount of money as, say, Jimmy or Jerry or Joe at her work. Let's say she's a nurse, but these guys make, they make $10 10K more than she does. You know, wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want your broad to come home with more money? Like, I'm an engineer. I know for a fact I don't make nothing near what the guys make. And that's just a proven fact. And I will work my ass off in more ways than one, just to be able to just get things done and just to be able to be in that mix. Okay? I'm not even going to go into the logistics of what I had to do to get to where I am. And I'm even discussing like what it was like in school to get to where I am today. So to make a long story short, I'm turning this all back to Mrs. Clinton. Now, I'm not saying I'm pro Mrs. Clinton simply because she's female. I'm saying I'm pro Mrs. Clinton because, you know, when the Clintons were in power, things were good. Mr. Clinton was getting things done. And if you really think about it, impeaching a president because he gets a blowjob, like seriously, like they spent all our taxpayer money to impeach Bill Clinton for getting a blowjob. Like, think about the pettiness in that. Think about the pettiness in trying to lynch someone for getting a blowjob. Like, I think that being a president, these are kind of the perks that you get for being a president. And every other country is just laughing at us, just saying, like, you're going to impeach this guy because he got a blowjob? Like, seriously? Like, think about that. And then you want to give Hillary Clinton 9 hearings for Benghazi. Yeah, she's taking the rap for everyone. Everyone. I mean, the broad is like in charge of 70,000 employees. And she can't be there for every single thing on the night anniversary of September 11th. There was an attack. There was an attack all over the world on September 11th, the anniversary. And you guys want to lynch Hillary Clinton for the 4 people that died in Benghazi. However, yet we don't do anything to George Bush, Dick Cheney, or Condoleezza Rice for the Twin Towers collapsing. Like, nobody said, hey, where were you? Why didn't you, did you get any tips, like, that this was coming? Like, nothing. There was no 9 hearings. No 9 hearings for George W. Bush for the September 11th. Although we all know that was an inside job. If you're still in delusion to think that that was not an inside job, you're living in the clouds. I listened to all the Benghazi hearings because I myself wanted to know what the hell was going on. So I would be working on my code. I'm doing my job. And, I'm listening to the hearings and I'm listening to all the questions and stuff. And I'm telling you, man, this woman, the hate is simply only because she's a woman. Period. And you got to think about it. She was Obama's biggest threat. Once she was no longer a threat, however she did win the populist vote, once she was no longer his threat, he wanted her in his team and to appoint her as Secretary of State. Like, you got to really think about that. Why would you, she wasn't all that, why would you appoint her as Secretary of State? And she took the last 4 years off just so she can collect herself and regroup. So, as far as the politics are concerned, I'm not saying vote for Hillary Clinton, but at the same time, I'm just saying, like, people like Rand Paul, like, I'm for, and Bernie Sanders, like, a lot of his facts and things that he says, it's just, there's no backing in him, man. He's saying great things. I'm not saying that I don't like Bernie Sanders. I'm not saying that he's not somebody that I'd want to pick. I just think the things that he's preaching is just going against the grain. Like, he's just trying to go against something that it will never be. And he's promising these things that will never happen because of the entities that are in place. And these entities that are in place, let's just call it the Illuminati. Like, fuck that word. Everybody's just like, they use it. They call Justin Bieber the Illuminati. Justin Bieber ain't the fucking Illuminati. And neither is Jay-Z. And neither is Kanye. We're talking, this thing goes like, just, it's gone. It's just so far gone. These superpowers that are out there, they're just so far gone. The all-seeing eye is watching tonight. That's what it is. the truth and the light. It's the all-seeing eye. And this is who Bernie Sanders is trying to like go for now. Like, God bless his heart. But guess what? It's not going to happen. It's just not, my friend. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist, and I'm not trying to say that and be negative. What I'm trying to say is let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Unless there's a civil war or a complete revolution where everyone is kind of, hit the streets and just started going against the system, then Bernie Sanders is our guy. And maybe even Rand Paul. But the way it is now, it's not going to happen. If you want domestic things done, if you want jobs to come back, if you want the H-1B scenario to stop, you need to go with where it was good when it was good. And I'm not saying go with Hillary Clinton, but in a way I'm kind of saying go with Hillary Clinton. And your fucking sexist views of because she's a broad or she's a female or whatever, you need to get over that, dude. You really need to get over that. It's so sad that that's what it is. That's in your mind. That's in your head. That's preventing you from seeing something that may be good. I mean, it wasn't bad when Bill Clinton was our president, was it? He could have done more, but there was a witch hunt because he was he was getting a blowjob. There are all these things that I don't think a lot of people think about. And I don't know. And this Carly Fiorina, if you guys watch her, I mean, we still got a long ways to go. But if you watch her, every single thing that she's saying is coattailing on Hillary. She cannot. She's like dick riding Hillary. She cannot say one word without saying something about Hillary. You know what I mean? Like, just stick to your policies, woman. If you want to be like the woman president and you want to be the female figure in there, like, just stop talking about Hillary. Just do what you got to do. Like, make your point, make your case. But to come after Hillary and to say that, this is what you know what I mean? Like, you'd be the best debate between you and her would be, I mean, come on, man. Nobody wants to see that. And definitely men don't want to see that. Trust me on that. So let's get back to reality. Let's get back to reality and let's see people for who they are. And Bush, Jeb Bush, he's out. We all know that. Donald Trump, he's a Wall Street puppet disguised in good old boy clothes. I really don't know how to describe Donald Trump. Like, he's just something else. I mean, the guy, like, if you go on YouTube and go and listen to his when he goes to city and he's talking and he's giving his speeches and stuff, just listen to him. It's like one thing after the other, and not only that, but it's just like a jibber jabber, nothing but prattling. There's nothing really going on, but he'll throw those little catchphrases. Oh, and one other thing. There's this book called How the Right Got the Left to Be Latte Drinking, Sushi Eating, Volvo Driving, Tattoo, Pierce, Freak Show or something like that. I forget how it goes. But anyway, it's about basically what they do, what they say to get you to vote the way they want. They'll use these words, these little catchphrases. And you got to pay attention to who's using these little catchphrases to just kind of hook certain people in. And just be leery of that. And that's your boy right there. That's Donald Trump to the T. He's the only one on repeat, on loop. Immigration, that's him. Anyway, there's nothing more I can say. That was my rant on the politics of 2015. We got a long way to go. 2015. Keep your eyes peeled. Look at who's really, really, really seriously, who can hang and who can address all the issues. All the issues. It's not just one thing. It's all issues. Who can really hang? And it's clear whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be hard for them to get things done. So don't use that, oh, well, if it's a Democrat, they're not going to get anything done like Obama, or if it's a Republican, it's the same shit. So don't be so close-minded. And then, I mean, this is your country too, right? So it is what it is, and we're in this situation. So until then, I'm out.